If your energy crashes at 2 p.m. like clockwork, that's not supposed to happen. Low T might be your problem. Doctors say just get on TRT, take weekly shots forever. Cool, except for the expense of $1,000 per year and the fact that it shuts down your natural production. And it comes with some long-term questions that we should be asking ourselves. So go the natural route. Go with Mars Men. It's a potent, natural testosterone stack that helps your body produce natural testosterone on its own. No needles, no synthetics, no shutdown. It's like resetting the factory instead of closing it. Tongkat Ali, Shilajit, zinc and boron. Real ingredients that help support healthy T levels, strength, stamina, and recovery. You will have a steady energy all day, stronger lifts, sharper focus. For a limited time, our users get 50% off for life plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. After the purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Let them know I sent you. We are led to believe that Jon Jones was offered a fight against Alex Pereira. So imagine Jon takes a look at that and he goes, no. For whatever reason, the numbers don't work or Pereira doesn't work, whatever it is, but you lead to a no. Here's the unforeseen problem. We're going to put Alex Pereira on the card, going to be a feature bout, and we're going to do it for an interim championship. Why is that a problem for Jon? Because now Jon can't come back to fight Tom. That's why it's a problem. Right? If I was to tell you guys, if I was to give you a question, I'm going to back you up until December 31st, and I go, do you think Jon's retired? Bet yes or no. And whichever way you would bet, but then I give you one clue, and I tell you he's not going to fight in 2026. You look at that and go, man, that guy's like 37, 38 years old. He had this opponent named Francis who left. Now he's got this opponent named Tom, and we don't even know if Tom will have the belt by then. For Tom to have the belt by 2027 would mean that Tom has to set a heavyweight record for title defenses. Right? All of a sudden it starts to get strange. You didn't have the evidence that Alex Pereira was going to come into the weight class. Because I can now tell you that. I can now give you that clue. Is Jon Jones going to fight again? Well, let me give you a clue. He's not going to fight in 2026. And it's not an opportunity of going, hey, I changed my mind. Look, it's all cool in the gang. You know, we rethought this and I came in a little bit strong and the model has changed and I'm good for the fight with Tom. It's not an option. First off, Tom's hurt. I'm well aware that Tom's going to come back, but I'm just setting the table for you. Tom is hurt. This is an unforeseen. That when Jon is making his moves, he has no way to plan for. Because Tom is hurt, we are now going to find the next opponent for Tom. The one thing that we can agree that an interim championship is a number one contender spot. We can agree on that. Even if you're the smart mark in the room and you can show me a time through history, we can agree. And we can specifically agree when it involves Alex Pereira taking on Ciryl Gane, who, by the way, is the very guy who's publicly been named as the next opponent for Tom. Right? It's been publicly stated that we're going to rematch Ciryl and Tom. Now, that plan gets changed when Tom's eyes are a little bit worse. Alex Pereira's not even in the weight class. He comes back. I mean, do you see where there's just no room for Jon? And by the way, it's not completely Jon's fault. Like, he's just gotten to this level of greatness where you can't just bring him in. You can't just go, look, it's a special line. We're going to put Jon in there with the number 5 guy or the number 6 guy. And this whole thing's been fugazi, by the way. I mean, I got to tell you, at the end of the day, I find myself defending Jon, which is not a position that I know that I've ever been in. I mean, I really do feel for Jon Jones in this situation because he's not a guy that's able to look at it and go, I'm so great and I've beaten everybody and there's nobody interesting for me. Like, he's a competitor going, that's your guys' problem, right? That's the field's problem. Nobody can touch me. That's the field's problem. That's not a reason that would preclude me from having an opportunity, but it is. It is. Jon is so good. Listen, Ronda Rousey retired because of this very thing. Ronda Rousey did not retire because she didn't want to do the sport or she wasn't one of the gals or she couldn't keep drawing or she wasn't ranked. She retired because her contract was of such that it called for her to be a main event. If you're going to be a main event, you're fighting for world championships, and she was not world championship caliber. Like, her own greatness is what retired. Anybody would have loved to have been in the spot that Ronda retired on. She probably would have been about number 7 in the rankings. Anybody would have fought their whole life for that opportunity. She would have returned to a main event, at lowest a co-main. Like, anybody would have fought their whole career for that. Her own level of greatness is essentially what retired her, but it's a real thing. And when you're Jon Jones and you're 37, you're 38 years old, and you're coming out and you're saying, like, I can't do this, and I've got arthritis, and I got these problems in my hips, and it's just a tough spot. And I feel for him. He wanted on the White House card. To our knowledge that we've been given, and I understand that things are kept, but from our knowledge, that was all that he asked for. He did not come in with some $30 million price tag or something ridiculous, and I imagine there was a little bit of a pain in the ass behind the scenes, but he had still made an ask, and he's doing a number of great things. And a guy that he smoked in 4 minutes got the opportunity. I mean, I could feel for Jon in that spot. But what do you do? I mean, if you had the power, what would you do? You're not going to put him in there against Tuivasa or Derek Lewis. You're not going to put him in there against Volkov. What story are you telling? Where are you going to go? Jon is going to have to fight for a belt. That belt is going to have to be defended against Tom, which was an idea that we had 5 months ago and didn't come to fruition. So you would be creating an opportunity. What do you do? How would have you handled it? It's a lot more complicated than you might think. Then you're going to tell me you're not going to put him in the interim? Like, does that sound right to you? Jon Jones fighting for the interim championship. Does that sound right to you? No, I don't think that you'd have done that. And you could have packaged it. You could have sold it so it's an interim title because Tom's out, and then that's we've got a guarantee that we got a 2-fight deal, and Jon's guaranteeing us that he's going to go into Tom. I mean, it's one of these tough things. Look, if Jon's demands were not met, and by the way, I don't take a pleasure in this. I got to tell you, I'm not being my usual dick of a self. I come to you quite the opposite. But here's the cold hard truth: if Jon Jones's demands are not being met for the biggest fight in history, they're not going to be met for the non-biggest fight in history. If Jon Jones could not get a title fight on the biggest show in history, he's not going to get a title shot on a different show in history. If Jon Jones could not get the main event, he's not going to get it on a different event. And for his greatness, that's tough. I don't think this is the way that he wants to go out. I don't think this is the way that he wants to retire. But there's simply, with the evidence that we have, there's no other way to interpret this than Jon Jones is retired.